What motivated me to do this video is a few days earlier I was driving on a two-lane country road near our home when the car suddenly turned left completely across the center line into what could have been a head-on collision. Luckily no other cars or people were on the road. The only explanation I can come up with on why FSD did this is there were shadows of trees on the road, so that must have confused the software. It is hard to trust something after this kind of event. This is our 2018 Tesla Model 3. It's got FSD version 12.5.4.1. Probably 90% of the time it'll just drive itself, steer, brake, so forth, no problem. Then all of a sudden it'll do something that could be very dangerous. So what I'm going to do in this video is just focus on those issues that are a problem, because what will happen when it drives good, you become complacent, and then all of a sudden it'll do something that's just right out of the blue. So I hope that Tesla and Elon Musk can get this working right. Right now I have a lot of problems with it, but just going to share some of those in this video. Okay, first place we have a problem with full self-driving is this road merges onto this other road here at a very sharp angle. I can't as a human see easily without pulling up perpendicular, but in full self-driving it doesn't do that. It'll do this, and then I'm wondering, is anything really coming or not? It is really hard to see. I wish it would just pull up like I do. Now, it's going 25. The speed limit on this road is 35. So, doesn't know why it doesn't know what the speed limit is here. I've driven down it a bunch of times, but that's the way it is. Now, here comes a truck, and we're too close to the center line, so I got to get over it. There was a big truck hogging the road, and I had to get out of its way. Now I'm in average driving mode for full self-driving. It's supposed to be, the middle between chill and aggressive. And
now turn left onto Crow Creek Road.
We got to make a left turn here, and there's a truck on my tail, so hopefully it won't mess up too bad. Okay, here comes a big truck from the left. It was pulling out in front of it. You were pulling out in front of a truck coming from the left. Sent that message. I'll go back into full self-driving. Speed limit's 55. It says it's 35. So I'm going to speed up to 55 max. The hands-free part seems to work okay. One of the things that's really bothersome is when it'll do phantom braking, like right out of the blue. I think it might be the shadows, I don't know. It'll just slam the brakes on. Even though it's hands-free, I have to keep my hands on the wheel, because I have had it just suddenly turn into the left lane or suddenly turn off to the right for no reason. So, I have no choice especially when there's other vehicles coming. If they could ever get it so it could do machine learning in real time, they could solve this in a couple of weeks. In other words, when I teach it, say, no, you can't do that, this is what you do, and have it just fix itself. To me, that makes a whole lot more sense than trying to use billions of miles of all kind of miscellaneous driving data. You notice the render here shows no cars to the right or left, but there's a huge bush on the right. There is a complete blind spot. You could not tell if the car knew if there's any cars there or not. That's one of the things I could really fix. It would really help, give you more trust. There was no question that going down a road like this, where there's no other traffic, not people in the road or anything like that, the car can drive itself. There's no doubt about that, but it can make you complacent. So you start relaxing, and you're not ready for the sudden edge case that'll just come out of nowhere. So you get to be careful. One thing this full self-driving will do, and I'll give it credit for that, is when you set it on like 30, drive itself, it will stay right there. It's really good at holding the speed limit. Truck pulling out in front of us up here, and see it doesn't show it until now. So I'm not sure why it's like it's nearsighted. I've noticed it will just drive right into big potholes. And when you have rough areas where most people would kind of get over to avoid the rough spots, this doesn't do that. It just goes right through them. The car in front of that truck has got its turn signal on. I think it did not see that. So I could see that and get a head start on slowing down. Thankfully that car pulled off to let us go around. Now this truck, see, we're not slowing down until now. Now, why it didn't get a head start on slowing down, I don't know. It's like it waits to the last minute, which to me is not defensive. You can't assume everything's going to work right when you expect it to. You would feel like that if you've ever had a car where the brakes failed on you, which I have. That's why after that, that's when I was a teenager, whenever I set my foot on a brake, in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking brakes might fail. So I better be careful. Okay, we're going to be coming up on a school zone here where the speed limit is 35. It's a high school. You'll see it says 35. I would already be slowing down. It doesn't until it gets right to it. And then it slows down. Coming up on a bridge where a couple days ago I was driving full self-driving down, and it just suddenly veered off to the right. Absolutely no reason, going in the same direction. There was no cars around and nothing. I don't know what made it do that, but it probably would have hit the guardrail if I hadn't been watching. Okay, right up here. Now it did a phantom brake right there. I'm gonna do a slight phantom brake. Now see what it's doing? Turning off to the right. Did exactly the same thing. You veered to the right for no reason. This is the second time you've done this in this area. It's very unsafe. This is a replay in slow motion. If you look in the center of the road, there's skid marks there. The cameras must have thought that was a vehicle or something. But this is the second time it's done that within the past week in exactly that same spot. Something they really need to work on. Now that scared the car behind me. They're further back behind me now. Even if the wacky FSD maneuvers don't cause you to crash, your wacky maneuvers can cause other cars to overreact to what you're doing. They think you're distracted, drunk, or something, and so they may swerve and have an accident just because it didn't do what it's supposed to do. Now, there's a lot of college students around here, and depending on the time of the day, it makes a difference how many of them are around. And sometimes they'll be on electric scooters, on mopeds, walking, jogging, you name it. So you really do have to be careful. This whole area down here is basically, it's Clemson. It's an open campus, so there's Clemson University buildings is wherever, along with other things like Chipotle and Moe's and miscellaneous stores and other things. Right now, it's not real congested with people like it can be, but you really have to be careful. And obviously, there's more people in the streets and on the sidewalk here, and it's rendering where the people are. We're going to have to go up here and make a sharp turn to the right. Okay, it's going to have to get
Now
over.
turn right onto Old Greenville Highway.
That's still in full self-driving. Now, all these students here wait for the light to change. I think most of them are probably going to go straight across that way. Not sure. Some of them might try to walk left. Not sure. We'll see. It's just got to be extremely careful. Okay, they've got the walk sign over there. As you can see, a lot of students coming and going. Not all of them in crosswalks, just going everywhere. So this is a real world situation. At least they're adults, not little children, where they're liable to do just any crazy thing. Okay, it's driving itself. Just be careful here. Sharp turn back to the right. They handle that okay. The speed limit is 25 along here. There's a car in our blind spot on the left, and it's trying to turn in front of that car. I'm going to stop it. There was a car right in my blind spot on the left, and you had a turn signal on. There was a motorcycle behind it. You should have just waited to do that. Speed limit is 25, and it's going 25. Now this lot number 15 parking lot sign, sometimes it thinks that's a speed limit. I think they've corrected that though, because, no, it slowed down to 15. See, that was the parking lot number. It's not the speed limit, so I'm going to speed it back up. See, where the speed limit is 40, we're going 40. Since almost everybody speeds on the road, very few go the speed limit. People will be passing us. We're going to have to get in the left lane coming up here though. Make the next turn. It's full self-driving now. It's got to be careful. No, it's trying to pull in front of this truck. Can't do that. You were about to pull in front of that truck who was speeding on the left. See it going fast? You should have seen that. Okay, we're going back into full self-driving. Speed limit is still 40. We're going 38. We'll get up to 40. Just got to get in the left lane. Here comes a truck flying up on the left. My blind spot. See how fast it's going? Going at least probably 50. Maybe faster. This is the real world. It's what it's got to deal with. Now see, it slows down to 25 here. And the speed limit is actually 35 or 40. It's not 25 here. Because that's what all the speed limits are. It always does that. So I'll speed it up. Phantom braked just then. I guess the shadows fooled it. To me, absolutely, the thing that you've really got to watch is it can drive itself. There's no question about it. But it's very easy to get complacent when everything's going right, and then it'll just suddenly do something that's dangerous. So it's impossible to relax with it. I wish they had redundant systems on this, like LiDAR or something. And something that gave you a better overall view of exactly what it's seeing and what it's doing. You just have to assume it's working right. I can imagine, since they're using just cameras only and trying to mimic human thinking, it's easy for a human to sometimes get fooled by shadows and things.
Now turn left onto Shiloh Road.
Just got to make a left turn here. Now what I don't like, see how it stops, I cannot see to the right and I can't see to the left. So I got to stop here because I could not tell if it could see. I have no way of knowing. if it saw anything. You were so far back, I could not see if anything was coming. I could not tell if you could see where there was any vehicles coming. So what are you going to do? You can't trust it, because at that same spot, I have had it in full self-driving, pull right out in front of vehicles before.
J.P.
So
Stevens Road.
you cannot trust it. You have to be able to see to verify. Now see, it's a yield sign, no one here, it's stopping. Doesn't need to do that. One of the things I don't like about it too is it'll go too fast over railroad tracks.
Now turn right onto
See, it's
Martin
going too
Creek
fast
Road.
here. It just tears the car up. I'm disengaged. You're going too fast over the railroad tracks. You tear the car up. Okay, it went off the. Okay, you veered off to the right. I have no idea why. Now somebody behind me, they're obviously gonna think I'm drunk or something. So I'm just gonna take over for. I wish it would avoid these big potholes. They're not real bad, but they're bad enough. Like there's one right here, it'll go right into it. See? Now, it could easily, no cars come and gone around it, but it doesn't do that.
Now turn left onto Martin Creek Road.
Now, it said me to take over immediately. I wonder what that was about. There was a car coming, but it wasn't going, so not sure what that was for. Unless it was because I looked to the right. I'm going to try going back into it. Okay, we're back in full self-driving. This full self-driving has had a tendency to hug the center line more than it should. It's not as bad now with this 5.4.1, I guess, or whatever it is. One of the problems it's had up here at this stop is sometimes it'll stop too far back than from where it's supposed to. That can be an issue. We'll see what it does now.
Now turn left onto J.P. Stevens Road.
Now this is a stop here, and the people on the right have a stop sign, but they don't on the left. So it's got to see a car coming on the left. It was pulling out in front of it. They don't have a stop sign. So that was a problem. You pulled out in front of a car coming on the left side. They didn't have a stop sign. So that was not good. You didn't know if they were going to turn right. Looks like a moped here on the right. See how it shows me just now going past it? I think it could anticipate it, a little bit better than it does. It's a little close to that moped. We turn it over. Closer than I would have been.
Now turn left onto Watkins Street.
It's Watkins Street. It's doing things. Let's see if it hits the railroad tracks too fast. That's been a big problem.
In 500 feet, turn left onto Meadow Bridge Road. Then turn
Okay,
right
I'm going
onto
to
Gasoline
disengage.
Street.
It's going way too fast over these. You are hitting the railroad tracks way too fast. They're real rough. You just tear the car to pieces. You can't do that. Oh, there's somebody on the side of the road. He's a motorcycle. Let's see if it gets over. It should have slowed way down, and it didn't. There was a motorcycle in the road. Stopped, and you were going way too fast before you went around it. Got a truck pulling out up ahead. See, It didn't show it till just now. I could see it quite a while ago. See, it's only looking, all you can see here is a couple hundred feet, maybe 250 at most in front of the vehicle. When I can see way out there, I mean, you're always taught in defensive driving to get the big picture. This thing is too nearsighted, it doesn't do that. This is where I think adding a good LiDAR system to it would really benefit it. Be an extra level of defensive driving. Coming up on a spot turning onto this other road up here. We'll be turning right, but on the left there's a hill and a curve. It's a little tricky. You know, if you can't see, you've got to pull ahead and be very careful before you pull out, or you pull out in front of somebody.
Now turn right onto South Main Street.
Okay, see with this right turn signal going, you can't see if it can see anything, and I can't see, so I'm gonna that's a big problem they need to fix. You need to be able to see a display that shows that street that way to the left clear with nothing coming. That way you don't have to worry about having to intervene because you don't know if it can see it or not. That is a problem. There's no question that this 2018 Tesla Model 3 with FSD version 12.5.4.1 can drive itself. It can steer, brake, obey traffic signs, stop signs, so forth. It can do all those things, no problem. The issue is there are certain times when it will just absolutely take on a mind of its own and just steer to the right or to the left for no reason. There's nothing in the road or whatever. And if you've had that happen, it makes you totally lose confidence, and that is a real problem. So anyway, this video, I was trying to just highlight some of the things I saw recently, and things that Tesla really needs to work on to give us a much greater sense of confidence when driving it. It's stressful right now. I hope they're successful. I'm getting older. At some point, I may not be able to drive. I would love to be able to have this thing drive me. And that would just be wonderful. So I hope they're successful, but they're not there yet. So just don't get complacent driving these things with FSD, at least at this point. Maybe they'll get it improved sometime soon. I hope so. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like the video and subscribe. Check out our other links. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.